Welcome to Detox Radio with renowned speaker and advocate Denise Brown and life coach and author Danielle Pierre. Voices that inspire change. Make sure to tune in every week as Denise and Danielle bring in expert speakers to discuss and educate their listeners on a variety of topics. And now, your hosts, Denise and Danielle.
Hi, I'm Denise Brown.
And I'm Danielle Pierre.
Tonight we're excited to have Stan Cottle joining us from In Search of Me Cafe.
And we're also pleased to have retired detective, author, and media consultant Stacy Dietrich with us.
But before we introduce our first guest, here's Danielle with this week's news.
A prominent Texas judge who was filmed beating his daughter with a belt and cursing at her said he was merely disciplining his child and did nothing wrong. Hillary Adams, the daughter who was seen being beaten in the video, secretly recorded the beating 7 years ago and recently uploaded it to YouTube. The video was then posted on Reddit, a link-sharing website, where it racked up millions of views and incited anger among viewers. Both Hillary and William Adams have said the beating took place as punishment for their then 16-year-old Hillary for illegally downloading from the Internet. It was shot in 2004 by a secret camera Hillary set up when she anticipated her father might beat her. She said the beatings were a regular part of her life during those years, but she did not publish the video until now because she feared it would incite more violence, according to the interview. The video also shows Hillary's mother, Haley Adams, participating briefly in the beating, grabbing the belt from her husband and telling her daughter to, quote, act like a 16-year-old woman and take it, unquote. Haley has since left her husband and apologized to her daughter, she said on the Today Show.
Our first guest tonight is Stan Cottle. He's an accomplished writer, producer, and director whose credits include long and short-form film and video projects for national advertisers such as AT&T, Coca-Cola, Wells Fargo, and many more. Stan Cottle is the creator and executive producer of In Search of Me Cafe. What is In Search of Me Cafe? In Search of Me Cafe is a program that is revolutionizing the way positive life skills and self-help information is made available to youth ages 13 through 19. This comprehensive, interactive, media-rich website is being developed to help today's teens address problems, communicate thoughts and ideas in a like-minded social network, and seek outside help in finding solutions. At In Search of Me Cafe, we believe the best way to help teens manage their problems and prepare for focused, productive, and fulfilling lives is to provide them with age-specific methods for helping themselves. Hi, Stan.
Hi.
Hi, Stan.
How are you?
Good. Welcome to the show. Listen, in our introduction, we gave a brief overview of what In Search of Me Cafe is. But now let's talk about what In Search of Me Cafe can do for our youth today. How does In Search of Me Cafe work?
Well, it is an interactive self-help program that runs on the Internet. And what it does for kids, for teens who can log in and view the website, they can look around among a variety of topics of life's issues for them. And they can drill down into one of these topics to learn more about that particular topic. Let's say, for an example, bullying. And what they see as they start researching or looking for information about bullying is they see other teens telling their stories about their experiences with bullying. They also get qualified content, either in the form of video or text or graphics, that help educate them about what bullying is and what they can do to prevent it from happening and so forth.
Okay, so they're actually live with other people? Is that how that works? It's immediate peer-to-peer contact?
No, it's not live currently. It is actually any viewer that gets on the site being produced content. And it's either content that we have created as a webisode. We have a web video series about these varieties of topics. Or they are actually seeing and hearing other teens responding to the topics. But it's all at this point pre-produced.
Okay, where do you have In Search of Me Cafe right now?
Well, it's actually viewed by teens all over the world, and one of our formats is to have teen reporters, and the purpose of that is to have teens from around the world promote their into the website. And so, for an example, we have a reporter in India, we have one in Belgium, also Leeds, England, Hong Kong, and we're adding a few more as we go. Actually, I just connected with someone in Chile. We're looking at a teen reporter there as well.
wow, that's really exciting. How great is that? So if you have these teen reporters, what do? Do they gather up people there, or the youth there, the teenagers there? Do they gather them up and then have discussions?
Basically, the way it's set up is we manage these teen reporters, and we kind of direct them somewhat into an area, a topic area. And so what we'll say is we'll tell them all, we'll say, okay, this month we're going to talk about underage drinking. And so they go out and they talk to their friends or any teens that they find, actually. Sometimes they'll have small groups. Sometimes they'll do it man-on-the-street style. But they'll actually go out and capture either video or just write text and blog back into the site with the perspectives from their area about that topic.
Okay, so there's a lot of information on various different topics for teens to go to. I'm trying to get a real clear understanding. To go to the site, if they're having issues maybe with bullying or they're having issues with self-esteem or something of that nature, they can click into the link. They can read about it. They can read other teen stories. Now, how do they, the person who is inquiring on the site, how do they start to get themselves involved?
Well, that's a great question. They actually can respond to the website in one of several ways. If they want to just make a response in terms of a text response, they can blog. So on every page of the site, there is a blog link. They can also post to our Facebook page, which a lot of them elect to do because that's a huge tool for teens, and there's a Facebook link on every page. They can also submit their own video clips. And right now, the way our technology works is they would submit a request for video uplink, and then we would work with them and get their content placed on our FTP server, edit it, and then put it up.
Okay, so this is actually doing a couple of things, well, probably more than I'm going to mention, but what I'm noticing right off the bat is that kids can go here and they don't feel alone, number one. They don't feel like they're the only person in the world going through these certain things in life. And number two, they can develop while they're expressing themselves or at least having some peer-to-peer interaction. They're also learning or developing a skill as far as, let's say, blogging or maybe creating videos and things of that nature, reporting, like you said. So there's that in itself is a self-esteem lifter. Thank you, builder. I'm sorry. I couldn't think of the right word for a minute. But, yeah, so this is really, really incredible.
Well, thank you. And, those are great observations. In our feedback interviews with teens who have been on the site, the overwhelmingly prevalent response is that they don't feel alone. And what happens is let's say it's about bullying. They feel like they're the only person in the world that's being picked on by this other kid. They go in and search at Me Cafe, and they learn that kids all over the world, as culturally different as they may be, have the same problem. And so now they feel like they have some strength in numbers, and they also learn alternatives so that they can find a solution that fits with their situation. So all of that's great. The second part you mentioned, though, has to do with their ability to communicate, and that's really powerful, I think. These kids are being empowered now through In Search of Me Cafe to formulate a thought, come up with a solution, and offer it up in the vernacular that they communicate. That would be texting, making a blog, it could be a video blog, and so forth.
That's really amazing. So it's actually the peers, the youth that are speaking about these topics are actually coming to their own conclusions on how to stop any one of these topics, or are there to help another peer that is having self-esteem issues or is having drinking problems or is having bullying problems, whatever the topic may be. So they're actually coming up with their own conclusions.
That's right. And see, that's really the underpinning of In Search of Me Cafe. Our research has proven that this age group in particular communicates peer-to-peer more than any other way. In other words, They seek answers from each other more than they seek answers from parents or teachers or other adults. So our purpose is to take qualified self-help information, put it into this environment that they will use, this interactive website environment, and rewrite it, if you will, into their vernacular. So they trust it as their own, and they share it with each other.
Okay, so that's why you have the hosts or the reporters in different areas, because these guys are the ones that oversee the whole In Search of Me Cafe or the discussions that are going on so they can stay on track? Am I hearing that correctly?
That's true in some cases. In the case of Adam, who is the moderator of our video web series, he's very, very bright, for one thing. He's a little bit older than our target age group, so he has some authority from that view. But he has the uncanny ability to take these topics, he studies up on them, and he really runs with them. And he lived all over the world himself, so he really has a broad view of life in general. Now, we also, our advisory council, actually feeds information and filters the information that we give him as we develop the web series. So, we're very careful about qualifying the content that we're offering to these kids. But what we're finding is their responses to the topics we throw out enrich the content so much because it's really what they're experiencing. That's the real world coming back.
What kind of answers, and I want to word this correctly, what kind of solutions are there for kids who might join or go online and they're having a real serious issue, for instance, with bullying? Maybe they're now in depression or they're having suicidal thoughts or things of that nature. What happens then when you come across something like, is there a place for these kids to go and get information on where they can get help or something of that nature?
Yes, absolutely. On every topic channel of In Search of Me Cafe, there is a link that's called Helpful Links. If the user will click on that link, they will see just really a laundry list of different places they can go to seek help. And it could be an interactive link. It could be a hotline number. It's depending, of course, on the topic that they're inquiring about. So that's the first and most immediate and ongoing source of help for these kids is the Helpful Links. Now, if we receive input from a teen through the site, whether it's a blog or it's a Facebook posting or a video blog, we feel that that child has indicated emergency scenarios, we'll do our very best to reach them and give them directly those links. But the format of this is set up that they can find this information on their own.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's great.
Yeah, and the website is insearchofmecafe.com for all of you that are listening here today, and there's a lot of incredible information on that website. Stan, what made you start In Search of Me Cafe?
That's a great question. My background is that of filmmaker and marketing communications, and I was hired to create an educational film for the high school and early college age group about sexuality in the age of AIDS. And this is an educational project that was funded by a grant from the National Institutes of Health that was administered by the American Academy of Pediatrics. And so we basically made a short film, a movie, about the topic. And so not only was it completely joyful for me to do that, but what really set it up for me was watching. I was able to go to assembly viewings of this film as we were rolling it out, and I got to see the teens respond to that content. And the light bulb goes off in my head. I can use what I know how to do using pictures and sound to help these kids live better lives. And that was the birth of In Search of Me Cafe.
How long ago was that?
We completed that film I think it was about 8 years ago.
No, I mean the birth of In Search of Me Cafe. When did In Search of Me Cafe actually come to exist?
We actually created the InSearchOfMeCafe.com site about a year and a half ago.
Oh, so it's fairly new. It's not. Yeah. So this is a meeting place for teens who want to get involved or learn about a specific topic, or maybe it's something that's affecting them directly, where they can go, they can learn, they can talk to each other, they can see that they're not alone in specific areas of, like you said, perhaps bullying or self-esteem or any of those things, and basically then learn skills as they're going along. I think this is fantastic.
Thank you.
Stan, In Search of Me Cafe is a program for teens, for youth. How do you manage to keep it funded? How do you manage to keep it out there and alive for these kids to be able to utilize?
Well, we are organized as a nonprofit entity, actually formed in the state of Florida. So as a nonprofit, we subsist on the donations of like-minded individuals who want to help teens help themselves. And so we have a separate website that describes that nonprofit business, and it gives the background on who we are and why we're doing this. And that website is insearchofmecafe.org.
Okay, so insearchofmecafe.org is actually the business side of this to keep this funded. And it's funding what? The filming of the videos? It's funding getting the In Search of Me Cafe program out to schools, or what, after-school programs? What?
It's really all those things. Primarily, the funding goes to continually create content onto the website, and the content's in the form of, again, video as well as text and graphics. It's also funding the development of our technology. Our goal is to create a truly real-time interactive social network on In Search of Me Cafe. And so that's a big step technologically, so it requires the work of many people and funding to pay them to create the environment. The third thing that it does, the funding helps us distribute a curriculum-based In Search of Me Cafe program into specific targeted areas. For an example, we're in public libraries. We have programs that go into public libraries. We also are developing and have in place programs in character-building organizations. For an example, Boys and Girls Clubs. We are operating a pilot program in a Boys and Girls Club here in Northeast Florida where we actually have a physical In Search of Me Cafe. It's great. It's like a little coffee shop without coffee, of course. The kids gather. It's their own space, which is huge for teens, and they're led by a staff person of the Boys and Girls Club, a teen director, and we deliver a curriculum through the teen director to these kids. And so they all have laptops there, and they have a big screen television where they see the InSearchOfMeCafe.com site, and they are learning on a curriculum-driven, topical basis. They're then responding and placing content back onto the site in the same way that any other user would, texting, blogging, or video.
Are you planning on expanding maybe further out and nationwide on the physical cafes? Is that something that your organization has in mind?
It is. We look at that from 2 points. In our business plan, of course, down the road, we would love to partner with a cafe-oriented company that has a national footprint and roll these things out as standalone places. In the near term, however, we're partnering with entities like Boys and Girls Clubs to create them within other fixed locations, such as clubs. And they could be in YMCAs, they could actually be in schools. In fact, we are in a school right now. We're in our second year in an international school in Hong Kong, where our curriculum is a part of a class for middle schoolers and high schoolers. It's called Learning for Life, and it's basically life skills. And so they use In Search of Me Cafe as sort of a virtual textbook, if you will. Again, we developed a curriculum plan where these kids in the classes use our website to learn about life.
Oh, that's incredible. That's exciting. Because, here in the United States, it seems really difficult to get programs other than the math, the science, the history into the classroom. But that's amazing. Now, would you also do some type of an assembly or something like that, or is that too many kids?
No, I think assemblies are a great way to reach, obviously, a large number of kids at one time. But the beauty of the assembly is that it is a way we can get our message into the public school systems in the United States. So I think that would work well.
That's wonderful. Okay, terrific. Stan, anything else you want to tell us before we have to go?
Well, only to thank you for giving me the opportunity to tell my story. And I don't know if you can tell, but this is absolutely what I want to do when I grow up, is make In Search of Me Cafe available to every kid.
I think that's fantastic. And you know what? This is a wealth of information, and I truly believe that the peer-to-peer, is what is going to keep our children safe. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Dan, before you go, could you, again, 2 things, tell us for the kids where they can go to join or to at least investigate, and then also the site where people can donate or get involved in that aspect of the business. Could you repeat that to us again? And we're also going to list it on our site as well, just in case people are interested. They can go to detoxradio.com. We'll get that information to you there as well.
The teens can get the content at www.insearchofmecafe.com. And if the adults want to know more about our organization and also find a way to donate, All of that is at www.insearchofmecafe.org. Great. I appreciate the opportunity.
Okay. Talk to you soon. Take care.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with our next guest.
Bullying, violence, and suicide among teenagers and college students has increased tremendously over the past few years. We need to educate our families, students, school staff, and the community on how to detect a problem and prevent a tragedy. The Elite Speakers Bureau, Inc. was formed to educate the public and bring awareness to many issues, including bullying, abuse, violent crimes, stalking, and mental health, just to name a few. Our speakers are professionals with vast knowledge on these topics. The Elite Speakers Bureau team includes renowned authors, advocates, therapists, celebrities, and more. If you would like to book one of our acclaimed speakers for your next event, or for more information, visit www.theelitespeakersbureau.com or call 949-544-1410. That number again is 949-544-1410.